I am pleased to present this excellent example of a late 17th century Flemish tapestry which previously formed part of the Count of Edernet's collection. Perhaps depicting the story of King David consulting the leaders of the Holy Land prior to the restoration of the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem. Often acting beyond their intrinsic decorative role, we may now associate with them tapestries in their sheer size, quality and use of silks and gold thread would demonstrate the great wealth and status of their patrons, and commonly associated them with both classical and biblical narratives. What is perhaps fantastic about this piece are these wonderful figures in the landscape and the amazing use of perspective the weavers have employed to create such a sense of drama and energy unfolding around this central narrative. This is one of many items which we will be presenting in the important design sale this April.
Part of a private collection of Regency period silver, Bonham Silver Department is pleased to offer this set of 4 candlesticks. Hallmarked for 1815 by Paul's Store, they are richly ornamented with masks, scrolls and shells, and they're perfect examples of the revival of the Rococo style in the second decade of the 19th century. They're engraved with the arms of George Watson Taylor, one of the great art collectors and connoisseurs of the period, and one of the subjects in the painting Patrons and Lovers of Art by Peter Christoffel Wonder.
It was a style with its roots in the classical world, an interpretation dynamic, exuberant and theatrical. It was given fresh impetus by a group of new wealthy families eager to make their mark in the world. They built some of the grandest palaces in Europe and required furniture to complement their art collections and their status. They may have been designed by an architect, the masks and scrolls replicated in the room's stucco work. And in this respect, they differ from many practical pieces of furniture. Not to be regularly sat on, but to give a wow factor to a room. Bella Figura, designed for show. The provenance as it stands is from the National Galleries of Scotland, where for decades they fulfilled a similar purpose, to complement the fine collections of paintings and sculptures and to add grandeur and style.
The Starfish Dancer, an Art Deco, cold-painted bronze and carved ivory figure of a dancing girl in elaborate marine costume. The beautiful cold painting in iridescent tones of blue with this beautiful silver overlay highlighted against the costume. This undoubtedly was inspired by the work of Sergei Diaghilev and would have been produced in a very limited number during the 1920s, probably to order. And the whole piece evocative of the Jazz Age and the exciting Art Deco era. A Jewel of a Potted Bowl by Dame Lucy Ree, with beautiful pink tones and sgraffito decoration, the rim decorated with manganese and copper carbonide to give this beautiful golden dripped glaze down the body of the vessel to the footed base.
This impressive and beautifully carved marble sculpture of Diana the Huntress is by the Manchester-born sculptor Home Cardwell and is signed and dated 1862. Executed by Cardwell in Rome and influenced by the great sculptures of the antique period, Cardwell makes Diana a typical idealised representation of a goddess of the classical world. Born in Manchester in 1813, Cardwell attended the Royal Academy School in 1834 on the recommendation of the sculptor Sir Francis Chantry, later visiting Paris in 1841, where he's thought to have studied under the famous neoclassical sculptor Pierre-Jean David. An example of high Victorian classical sculpture Home Cardwell signed the piece Home Cardwell Manchester, showing his supreme confidence in his background and origins. This beautiful and finely carved statue is one of the highlights of the sculpture and works of art section of the Bonhams Important Design sale.